So being an artist means you are going to go through phases where you feel blocked, you feel lost, you feel uninspired. But I feel like there's this one thing that is so widespread, it's so commonplace every day, it's just integrated into your daily life that you might not realize how much it is actually affecting your creativity and how it may actually be the source of, lack of motivation, lack of clarity in your creative project. And so I feel like this is a really important topic for us as artists, as creative beings to discuss, but also even bigger, just as modern humans, because this is truly like one of the greatest gifts of our time, but it is also one of the greatest challenges and can truly cause so much difficulty for us in our process. Oh, welcome friends. I'm Sandler. If you're new here, I'm a creative, an herbalist, a wild witchy woman. I'm so excited. Today is day 4 of this 19 devotional creative journey, connecting to Goddess Brigid, connecting to the ancient flame of creativity of life. And if you're joining along in this journey of just like showing up in devotion to your creativity in whatever way that might be, it doesn't need to be super complicated or like a massive project you're taking on. I would love to hear in the comments if you're following along. And today I'm really excited. This topic has really affected me personally. It's so prevalent in our world, and yet I don't often see creatives talking about it through this lens because it is so deeply intertwined with our everyday lives, especially as people in the Western world. I live in Canada, and it's just so normalized, even though it could be really considered an addiction. So let's get into it, especially around creativity. Let's light our candle. Yay, day 4. I love 4s. My lucky number is 8. So we'll have to do an extra celebration on day 8. So as someone walking the path of the artist, and I'm not just talking about people, even though we love you, people who paint or sing or are seen as an artist in traditional sense. I'm talking about anyone who is a visionary, who's an innovator, who's here to create and build and do something big that either, is alternative and is really shifting different narratives, different norms, different systems here on Earth, or someone who is meant to express and really be a voice of whatever it might be, who's here to be creative. Like, creativity range is so huge, so I want to be clear about that my definition and idea of the artist is simply kind of like an archetype, and it is so much wider than I feel like, at least as kids, we were taught, like, this is an artist, they paint paintings. It's like, no, this is a person that is filled with inspiration and sees life in a different way. So if that is you, then I really want you to watch to the end of this video, because I know for me, sometimes it can be hard to listen to these kinds of topics, to really face the dark truth of life on Earth. But this is something we need to talk about, and this will help you thrive as a creative, okay? Like, we're gonna move from simply surviving and simply, just letting our creativity come in bursts and actually helping it, like nurturing that spark of inspiration, nurturing that flame of creativity within you. And a huge piece of this, okay, as a creative, some of our biggest, most important resources is our time, of course. This is why it can be so impactful when we, leave the 9-to-5 job that's taking all our time and our energy, is to energy. Like, we need to be replenishing ourselves. We need to be nourishing ourselves with all the things that bring us joy outside of our art so that we can actually show up to our creative practice. And 3 is our attention. Okay? It has to be said, our attention. And what is one of the biggest thieves of our attention? Social media. The internet. And this video is really for me as well. I have moved through such deep cords of distraction, of stealing my energy, my consciousness, my time from social media, especially in this last year. Like in the spring, I did basically this like wilderness sit with a plant, with mugwort, and I sat with this plant like fasting for several days. It was part of a plant spirit apprenticeship I was a part of on Vancouver Island, and I was really shocked that what really came through for me the strongest was about all these layers, these hooks that had been in me from social media, especially from Instagram, from just spending hours and hours, every day scrolling mindlessly, from consuming so many videos and things, even when a part of me was feeling like, oh, I want to, work on my candles. Oh, I need to do this thing. And so there's just so many layers to it, but I just want you to know that this isn't me being like, oh, I'm perfect, like I never scroll or anything. Like I've definitely come a long way, but I feel you, this is just, I think, a part of being alive during this time on earth, unfortunately, but also fortunately, because right now I'm talking to you from the west coast of Canada, and wherever you might be, I'd love to hear, like, what country are you in? You're probably from the US, but maybe beyond. I would love that. I get to talk to you. So there are so many blessings that are wrapped up in being alive during social media, but we need to talk about how it impacts our attention, for one, as a creative, but also in a bigger picture, our creativity. And I think the biggest thing is that our attention, when we cultivate deeper attention, we are able to do deeper work as a creative. And if you've never heard of the concept deep work, you can, read this book or listen to his podcast. I don't remember his name right now. We're in flow, so we're going to keep on going. But to me, I do feel something comes online, a sense of flow, a sense of like really like finding the gold when we're able to deeply dive into our creative projects and our work, when we're uninterrupted, when we're able to really focus in, when we're able to really almost like I said in another video, like the ocean of our creativity, it's like we're swimming down to those deep waters, instead of just always kind of paddling up top and we're breathing the air of like everyday life. It's like, no, we're going under, we're going deep. Oh, little Odin snuggling up. He's been loving being in these videos. So just know he's here holding the feline frequency. So for one, like when we have an attention span of a goldfish, because we are constantly, scrolling through reels, through TikToks, through whatever, that is messing with our creative process. Like that is holding us back from the deep work. And maybe you're incredible and you're able to still do the deep work regardless of how many hours you scroll. But I know for me, when I'm in those scrolling portals, it does affect me. And it affects me more than just my attention. It also affects me because I'm consuming so much. And this is like such an important concept to really tap into. And it's that when you're someone who feels they were put on this earth as a creative, that part of their purpose and part of your gift is being a creative, it is so essential that we are consuming less than we are creating, especially when it comes to this short form content. I feel like it can actually be a reclamation to recognize that throughout all of human history, we have loved art, we have loved media, we yearn for storytelling, but the way that it's been done for thousands of years is much different than we see in this short form content. And so personally, I feel this slowness and this peacefulness and this, okay, I'm consuming, but it's in a way where I'm, like eating a really nourishing soup and I'm slowly, getting all those beautiful herbs and juicy nutrients when I'm listening to a podcast or an audiobook or a YouTube video. Like it feels so different than when you're scrolling, at least for me. And especially when you have the intention of like, okay, I'm gonna make some candles, like for me, because I'm always making candles, and it's like, okay, I'm gonna play this new audiobook. Or if it's like, okay, like there's a new episode of my favorite show. Like, I just watched the new episode of Bridgerton last night, and it's so exciting, you know, to set the ambiance and really honor this art and really consume it in this way that is so delicious and is so respectful of what it truly is, instead of just like junk food, like you're just cramming it into your mouth. And it reaches that point. I know for me, I know not everyone feels this way. Like, it blows my mind discussing with some people how different their experience on social media is. But sometimes I get in this feeling where I actually feel like trapped, like my heart is beating. I feel so anxious. Like, I know I need to stop, but it's like I can't, you know, it's like 1 a.m. and I'm just like, and then I'll X out and then I'll go into YouTube Reels and then I'll X out. It's like, it's an addiction. Just plain and simple, it's an addiction. And when you are addicted to something, it drains your energy. It drains your life force. And so I know sometimes it's like I just feel uninspired, and it's because I've been scrolling for 4 hours or something. And of course, because I've just been consuming without actually tapping in to that creative spark within myself. And I just feel like any of us that feel we are artists, we are creatives, we will start to feel empty, and we will start to feel unmotivated, uninspired, lost when we're not regularly connecting to that spark and expressing. Even if it's just like dancing to a song you love in the kitchen, or even just journaling about nothing, just like stream of consciousness journaling, like whatever it might be. When we don't give ourselves the space to express, and instead we're filling up that space with consuming mindlessly, like that's the big thing, is the mindlessness, then we start to really dampen that spark, and we start, you know, it really starts to become very small, and it's almost like, where is that flame of creativity? Like, where did it go? And it hasn't gone anywhere. It's just that we're filling up that space with all this crap. So what can we do, right? Like, let's envision a reality where we can still use these apps, these platforms, but with sovereignty, right? Like, with our power intact. And I feel, first of all, what we need to do, and obviously I don't have all the answers, but I do feel we need to clear it out. So either like taking a break for a week, a month, however long you feel called, and just completely, just like if you're addicted to a substance, you need to eventually like wean yourself off of it. And so that's what's hard. It's like, okay, if we're addicted, can we ever use it in a way that isn't negative? And I do believe that we can, especially if we are consciously choosing to fill the space with other things that are more nourishing. So first we need to clear it out and do whatever that might mean for you. So taking space away, but also like literally doing like an energetic clearing. Like for me, when I was sitting in that wilderness sit, like I did a lot of energy clearing on myself, and it was pretty mind-blowing how many energetic hooks had come into me from, I don't know how to put it, but like negative entities that exist on these platforms. And it's even just like thought forms that we have from ourselves that are created from consuming so much, way too much, right? Because we weren't designed, also, apart from just being a creative being that needs to create more than consume, we weren't designed to consume this much information from this many people every single day, right? So just hold in your heart like the ancestral truth of your body and who you are as a human, and that this technology is very new. It is so new, and so it's very exciting. Like, oh my gosh, we get to be alive when this exists. Like, what? We can create so much magic here, but also we need to support ourselves extra deep. Like, we really need the support because our bodies aren't used to this. Like, our nervous systems sometimes can't hold all of this. So clear however you might need to do that. And also it might look like, you know, unfollowing a bunch of people on Instagram or Facebook or wherever it is, like really clearing the space. So you can create this container that's more conducive to positivity and to mindful consumption online. And then two, I feel like once we decide to use it again, we really want to create boundaries. And for me, you're talking to a Pisces sun, Gemini moon. Okay, so boundaries are like my life struggle, it feels like. So, you know, maybe it means like putting a timer, like a screen time limit on your phone. I know for me, I just click like ignore and I keep going. Or it might look like maybe you only scroll for like 5 minutes, or you only look at whatever the first post is, or whatever it might be, you know, find what feels good for you, but just like keeping the mindfulness in your mind, but also that the minute you go on there, you might go back to your addictive tendencies, and that's okay. I feel like we have to give ourselves so much grace, so much forgiveness, so much love for how challenging this is. And maybe someone watching this is like, oh, it's so easy, it's so mundane, it's not a big deal. But it is a big deal. It is a big deal for some of us, especially those of us who feel like we're called to share on these platforms. Like part of our path is in sharing and expressing online. I feel like we have to get so clear about our relationship to social media and so clear about the way that we use it, because we're meant to connect with others in this profound way, because it's part of our mission. And so personally, something that I love to do, because I am a candle witch, is I like to burn a black candle when I try to, like, especially if I'm sharing online and I felt called to burn it. This is like a little witch's cauldron. We love her. I made these for Samhain this year. But there is something about the frequency of black that is just very eagle, very protective and very cleansing. And for me, it feels like really supportive. And so for you, it might look different. Like maybe you're really connected to plants. I mean, there's definitely are plants that can help us. Like hawthorn is a huge one for me with boundaries, with protection. Maybe it's crystals, maybe it's song, or I don't know, you could figure it out, whatever it is that you need to do to support you when you go in these places, to continue to feel sovereign, to continue to feel in your power and in your consciousness, like actually feeling mindful. Do it. And for me, sometimes that looks like right now when I'm in this creation portal, it's like I just cold turkey cannot be scrolling at all, because then I get sucked in, and then there's these little voices of the perfectionist, of the procrastinator, of, distraction, to be like, oh, just stay here for a little while and you can work on your project later, or like you can film the video later, and then it's too late, right? Like it's the self-sabotaging voices that I feel like are so intertwined with social media and with this negative relationship we can have with it. And so I think it's so essential to really root ourselves in some way. Maybe it's like lighting an incense, and when the incense is finished, then you're done going online. Like we need these really, I think, embodied like ways in the physical to root us back here and to remind us that like we can't be on here for too long. And so yeah, for me, it looks like not scrolling at all, but instead just going on to post, or just going on and just seeing the first post. And that's the message for today. And you can almost use it like an oracle, which, I don't recommend like using AI or technology as an oracle, because our intuitions are the most powerful ever. But it's kind of fun to just be like, okay, what message am I gonna see today on Instagram? And it's just the first one, and that's it, right? So you can kind of like play, have fun with it, like be playful with it. Like it doesn't all have to be dark and scary and like, don't get addicted. Like there's dark entities. Like I know I make it sound a little bit scary, but it's just the truth, right? There's dark entities all the time, like in the spirit realm. Like this is just part of what it means to be in a reality that has light and dark. And so when we use these platforms, we need to be extra conscious, because I think there's this added like very interesting thing, which we can go in on this on another video. Like this is a whole other spin-off, but just like this tech realm, this World Wide Web, this internet realm that we're now a part of is like a whole other reality, obviously, just like the spirit realm, just like the earthly realm. Like, it's a whole other dimension. And I think that is the danger, that there's so much that lives there and that we can connect to without meaning to, without consciously choosing to. And that is what really leads, I think, to our fall, like to this addiction, to our distraction. We need to be kind of retraining ourselves to receive like those dopamine hits, to receive that art, to receive that feeling of connection and storytelling from other places, whether it's from like long form content, videos, audio, whatever it might be, or it's from like reading a book. Yes, how ancient and primitive it might feel, but you know, like actually just sitting with a book and a nice cup of coffee and just letting yourself dive into a whole other world that is this beautiful, magical, fictional tale. And that in itself can make you feel so good and can be a beautiful form of entertainment, because it is natural for us to crave entertainment as humans. And maybe it's a walk, you know, getting just some fresh air. Maybe, you know, I'm talking to the artist here, maybe it's starting a new hobby, you know, or something that you can do, like say knitting, or something that you can just sit and do, and it's almost fulfilling also that desire to escape and that desire to have that mindlessness, because that is also a natural thing. Like, sometimes this world feels so hard and sometimes we just need to escape for a few minutes, right? We just need to feel nothing. We just need to disappear into the abyss. Maybe it's meditation, or maybe it's going on some kind of audio journey or something. Like, we can find the ways to fulfill these desires, these yearnings that we have, but not in a way that is addictive and negative and draining for ourselves. And so I guess my big message to end this is really to just feel into, like, what am I seeking when I go on here? Like, when you're scrolling on social media, like, how do you feel in your body? Are you feeling what I described? Like, your heart's beating, you feel anxiety, you're like, have like an upset stomach because you're like, oh, I know this isn't what I should be doing right now, or what I actually want to do right now. Or maybe you're just feeling neutral, you're feeling nothing. Or maybe you're feeling lots of joy and you're feeling so filled up, and it's like, wow, I love all these people I'm connecting to online. Like, that is a great way to know, like, maybe you already have a really positive relationship with these platforms. And so just tap into that, and then tap into, like, what am I running from? Like, what am I trying to escape from? Or why am I here, right? Like, what am I seeking? And I feel like that can be a great way for you to reorient into, you know, how can I fulfill this desire in a way that is healthier, in a way that can allow me to still have a good relationship with social media? Because we need your medicine. We need your art. We need you to share what you've come here to share and express and voice. And like, we can't if you're so distracted and so addicted to social media that you are finding it hard to create anything. Because I think the more we consume in this mindless way, the less we have the agency, the ability, the sovereignty to create what we're meant to. And I just know that feeling so well, and I just really hope that perhaps this video can really inspire you, can help you to move away from that, because it is so possible. And like I said at the beginning, it is just so prevalent that it's like insidious, right? Like, we almost don't notice how much it's affecting us. So hopefully now you have that awareness and you can start to reinvent your relationship with these really powerful platforms. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear in the comments, like, your journey, your relationship with social media. Like, what are the ones you feel most called to share on? I know for me, I've had like such a tumultuous relationship with Instagram, and sometimes I feel called to share on there, and then sometimes I get so stuck in the scroll holes. So right now I'm just really focused on sharing on here, because YouTube has always kind of felt like a safe space for me. Like, it's always felt like the platform that I just love the most. So thanks for being here. I'd love to hear more about your experience in the comments. And yeah, have a beautiful, blessed, creative day. And I will see you tomorrow.